You ever just see a game and think I have to try this? That's what happened when I saw Ichigeki Sacchu HoiHoi-san in one of those videos where they show every game released on a certain console. Thanks to those videos, my list of games to play is way too high. The game got released only in Japan, and since I can read or speak Japanese, I read the manga, which got a translation to really understand what is going on, even though you don't really need to understand anything in the game to understand that it's basically you just having to get rid of all the insects and bugs. So for people who do not like seeing those, even in a virtual setting, I would recommend you to close the video. Looking for the manga, that's also where I had my first what the fuck moment. When I googled the creator of the manga, I saw the name Kunihiko Tanaka, and my brain should have went, wait, that Kunihiko Tanaka? Too bad I'm really bad with names though, and I only realized it's the legendary character artist behind Xenogears, the first Xenosaga, and some more games such as Popful Mail, which is really underrated. So he's the person behind Kos-mos, for example, together with Choco. It was like a dual work on her design, and the way she was designed is pretty wild. Tetsuya Takahashi, the head behind all the Xeno games, basically even showed off some of his favorite pornographic actresses to help with the design and how he envisioned her. When I read that on the Wikipedia page, I thought, wait, that can't be really true, can it? So I checked the art book where that was revealed, and in there it says sexy actress. Maybe it was an actual pornographic actress, maybe just a gravure model or just a normal actress that's sexy. Will we ever know? Maybe, if I ever get to do an interview. I will ask that question so I can be called a true journalist. Back to the actual game though, there's a reason why I mentioned Kos-mos though, which I will reveal in the next 20 seconds. Somewhere in the future, for some reason, insects have become stronger and immune to pesticides, so you can't spray them to death anymore. You could still just easily stomp them though, but that's messy and disgusting, and it would make you feel bad to rob these little things of their souls and life. Don't do it, okay? Unless you live in a country where they are dangerous. How would you feel if a big insect stomped you to death? You wouldn't like that either, right? So Japan has developed a robot, HoiHoi-san. She's just like Kos-mos, even though that's an android, but I think to most people the difference between a robot and an android isn't really something to care about. Her mission? Killing all insects. Or well, not all of them, because that would destroy the ecosystem, since if there would be zero insects that would be bad for all of us. Which is kinda cute. The insects are not trying to take over the world or anything like that. Ever read Terraformers? I love trash manga like that sometimes, but eventually it just became too stupid, even for me. Every once in a while I just get reminded it's still going on and I just wonder how and why. I like it when something just has low stakes. Your house is infested with bugs and you buy a cute little robot girl to get rid of them. The end. She's mass-produced, so it means everyone can get their very own HoiHoi at the local pharmacy, like the one Kimiko Deba works at, the shopkeeper where you can buy new skins and upgrades for HoiHoi, but she actually hates HoiHois because she once had her very own and got scared of it after she saw her totally covered in the blood of bugs. So now she kinda gets disgusted by people who buy one, even by you. So if you wanna have a chance with her, better buy some aspirin or something instead of a HoiHoi-san. Then there's you, who buys a bunch of them all the time, and that's kinda it. You also see two of the guys who work at the factory who produce HoiHoi, but nothing of that matters. The story in the manga is pretty cute and gives the characters a lot of charm, but here in the game you don't feel any of it, mostly because it's done with still images and only a few seconds of anime cutscenes. You can just skip all of it, mostly because you probably won't even know what they're talking about. Also, for everyone who gets creeped out by insects, this game was way ahead of the curve. It came out in 2003 and already included a way to change the designs of the insects. 4 different types. One is the normal one, then you can change the color of it, then you can animify the insects a little bit, and then you can also change the color of the animified insects. Nowadays, modes like that are kinda common, mostly for spiders though. If you take a look at the cover and backside of the game's case, I could actually see someone just buying this without knowing what it is about. The title of the game is One Shot Bug Killer HoiHoi-san, but maybe they would think it's about computer bugs. So now that person starts up the game and realizes it's a game about killing bugs that look huge because you're small, and they get goosebumps and walk back to the store to exchange it again because they can't handle it. They would be missing out on a pretty fun game though. Your mission is to kill the required amount of insects in the bottom right. Sometimes there's a few more, sometimes there's only the exact number of insects around. How do you do that? By equipping her however you want to. You're allowed to customize her loadout by putting weapons into her left or right hand, and it's up to you what you would like to do. There's a whole bunch of katanas or guns or flight waters, depending on what you need, or even a cute Maho Chojo staff. That probably does the least amount of damage in the whole game, but it's cute. Reminded me of Momo in Xenosaga 1. I have to try my hardest to fill up the video with references to Xenosaga, sorry. She only got 2 hands though, so you have to decide if you want to go in guns blazing with 2 rifles or be a cool mother trucker and read a double katana combo. Everything is kinda viable, but if you go a melee only build, the flying insects like flies or mosquitoes are pretty annoying. Just like in real life, how do flies always find their way in but are too dumb to find their way out? I'm pretty sure they don't even want to be inside. In a twisted way, they can be even kinda cute when you see them rub their hands together, like raccoons. When you first start the game, it might feel like it's gonna be a brain-dead game, because hey, you're a tiny super robot against dumb insects. Their brains are even smaller than mine, but the more you play, the smarter they get, kinda. They never truly become smart, but some of them can hear you approaching, so you have to sneak. And the thing is, even if you sneak and try to hit them with your katana, they sometimes are faster and you have to anticipate their one path to cut into it to get them. Till HoiHoi gets an upgrade and you can slash while dashing, which still isn't that great against cockroaches sometimes. Those are still damn tricky, but just pull your rocket launcher out and shoot them instead. I wish most problems in life could be solved that way. No, I don't own a rocket launcher, and I think even if I were American, that one would be hard to own. Till I googled it and the top result said it's illegal, but tons of other sites said it's legal to own one. So maybe I should get one if I ever became American. To get an A rank in most levels, you do have to switch up your strategy sometimes. If there's tons of flying enemies, you better use guns or else you will have a hard time killing them fast. But for killing something like grasshoppers, a katana is way better since you can dash and slice through them easily. It's still a fairly simple game in the end, but somehow it's just really fun trying to get a good rank and switching around to see what works best, which leads to one of the worst things about it. Before I talk about the bad, I also want to say something else that's nice, the variety. Not every mission is just killing insects, even though it is, but also about protecting the cake from insects, or killing a beehive. It's not like the game is bursting with tons of different stages, but despite the rooms getting reused sometimes, they do mix it up well enough that you won't feel scanned by it. It's fairly grindy when you want new weapons or outfits. After you beat the game, you get a mission to destroy 300 bugs and all you get is 3000 yen. Well, earlier you have a mission where you gotta brutally murder 24 grasshoppers that is easily done in 90 seconds for 2400 yen, which I have done a lot to grind up some money for ammo, because it costs money, which is something most people who play mecha games are used to, or for people who play Counter-Strike 1.6 back in the day like me. The economy of the game just feels a bit overpriced without getting tons of money back. And also, if you go around the levels and destroy items you're not meant to destroy, you lose money. Doesn't really happen often though, unless you suck, and sucking at games is not allowed. So, if you're a person like me who prefers to buy skins instead of actual useful things, then you could be in a bit of a pickle and do exactly what I did. Spend too much money saving up for a swimsuit instead of buying better weapons or ammo, so I could do earlier stages again instead of actually progressing. I didn't mind it though. It was totally worth it to buy the swimsuit because she even makes cute footsteps since she's barefooted. Nice detail to give her bare feet a different sound than if she was wearing shoes. People who are into feet will really enjoy that. You can even buy different wind animations that play after a stage, like making her use her broom. If it came out nowadays, you would have to buy those with real money. Another thing that takes a bit getting used to is getting locked into your animation when you swing your melee weapon, since you can't move during it. While watching the gameplay you might thought, looks a bit janky at times, and well, it kinda is. Moving around is fairly fluid, but trying to hit enemies sometimes is hard when the hitbox is a bit messed up, especially the flying ones. One thing I love the most is the lifeless eyes of HoiHoi-san, something I thought was because of the limitations of the PlayStation 2. Just kidding, ever saw Silent Hill 3 and its characters, those still look better than some newer games. The PlayStation 2 has a lot of power if needed, so it would have been a budget problem because let's be honest, the budget of this game was not high at all, but when I read the manga I saw that just how HoiHoi-san is, and I love it. She even has her very own rival, Combat-san, that the main character really wants to, but getting her would feel like cheating on HoiHoi, so that's a no-go. You will only need one bug destroy robot anyways, this town is too small for two, even though you end up fighting her as the final boss, and she's actually pretty hard till you find out the perfect strategy to destroy her. I kinda wish they allowed you to play as her, even if it would have been just a reskin, but sadly we can't have good things in life sometimes. HoiHoi also gets the bike in the manga, isn't that cool? I mostly just wanted to mention it to make another reference to kos-mos since she rides a bike too. I mean, robots or androids themselves are already damn cool, but giving them also a bike, that should be illegal with how cool it is. For some reason, I developed a soft spot for the game, or the whole franchise even. Reading the manga, watching the little episode and just enjoying it. Somehow it made me feel nostalgic and I can't even really explain why. Maybe it's the kind of stuff I miss from modern anime. Just a silly little idea that doesn't feel too random and over the top while being cute and charming as hell. Yeah, no, I sound like a boomer. This is just the type of game I live for sometimes, randomly playing a game that looks bad but actually enjoying it lots. Normally you would get entertainment out of it with how bad it is, but HoiHoi-san's game is actually really decent. It won't make my top 20 PlayStation 2 games, but it's one of those games that I would easily recommend to people who like to dig deep into a console's library. With that said, I hope you enjoyed the video and maybe you will check it out, especially if you're a fan of the Earth Defense Force games, since those are also all about killing insects. This is just like that on a way smaller scale though. Have a good day, a good night, or whatever fits your time zone. Bye bye.